It's currently 11:47 and I'm putting in my cue points, exporting my playlist for my show tonight. Well, I should say tomorrow morning because it's at 2 a.m. Yeah. It's an all hip hop set. Expect some footage of that right now.
Got the key. The key. The key. The key. Locked in a box, you got the key.
What is up, YouTube? This is Alex Rose, and today thought I would do a little bit of an overview of all the equipment that I use to produce. So we're going to start off, just to let you know, everything I talk about in this video is also available in the description with buy links. None of those are like affiliate links or whatever, so I don't make any money when you use them or whatever. I've just provided links to all my equipment in the description below, so feel free to look at it in case you're curious. This is a very affordable, good setup for anyone who's on a budget. All of my equipment is fairly entry level, so it's good for if you're just starting as a producer. So first off, probably the thing you guys care about the least, and that matters the least in my music production setup, is my display or my visual monitor. So I have a display from LG. It's the LG LED E50 series, and I've had this for a super long time. Before I was into music production and I was a gamer on PC, it served me very well. Good 1080p screen, nothing that special. It's not especially large, and I'm not rocking a dual monitor setup. So that's maybe a change I'll make in the future, but it's not too unaffordable. So that's really good. Next, we're going to talk about my headphones, which are these guys. These are extremely popular, and they're the M50Xs from Audio-Technica. And you might notice mine are different colors. They're actually like my Alex Rose brand colors, and that's a D brand skin that I put on them. So you can get D brand skins, all different kinds of textures and stuff. Let me just show you a little bit closer up what that looks like. I got kind of the matte finish, and you get a bunch of different finishes. They're, industry standard headphones, best ones you can get. Super flat response. Your music sounds great, and it doesn't alter anything with the frequencies. So, I find I'll mix on these, and I've had to train myself to mix the bass much quieter than I'm used to, so that when someone's listening on beats or whatever, the bass doesn't sound so obnoxiously loud. But it's improved my mixing a lot, especially before I invested in having studio monitors and having speakers. They're a really great option, and I think they're like $150. So it's really good. You don't really need studio monitors if you have those. So I'd highly recommend Audio-Technica M50Xs for any beginning producer. Next, I'll talk about my studio monitors. So I got these very recently, and they're the Rocket 5. Now, I haven't been producing with them for very long, but what I've noticed is that the bass response on Rocket 5s is not great. So I usually always produce in my M50Xs, unless I'm getting some ear fatigue from having the headphones on for a long time. Then I'll move over to the Rockets. But the problem is there's a real lack of bass frequencies. Most likely, a huge reason for that is because I haven't acoustically treated my room. I'm in a large basement room, and it's not acoustically treated, so the bass frequencies are really lost. I did put them on foam riders recently, and that improved the bass response a little bit as well, because they were before directly on my table, but that helped. They're kind of, I think, expensive, especially if you're an entry-level producer, if you're in your first couple years of producing, for the response you get. In my opinion, it's better to stick to the headphones when you're starting out. And once you can afford to maybe have stands and acoustically treat your room, then it's more worth it to invest in the speakers. For me, like, I can use them for general music listening and stuff. I don't regret buying them, but I could see how you could get more for your value. Next, we're going to talk about one of the things you can actually see in frame right now, which is this guy. And that's the Audio-Technica 2020 condenser microphone. This thing is fantastic. I recorded my vocals for the key on it. It's probably the cleanest, best microphone that I've ever gotten. And it's only $100, which is pretty good, really. The only thing I wish is that maybe it had modes, more selection modes, so that you could pick out the distance of its sensitivity basically, because I find a lot of times it's oversensitive and will pick up a lot of background noise. And my computer, my tower is really, really loud with its fans. So I wish that was different, but for the price, it's super affordable and it's really fantastic. My only regret is that I got the USB version. I'd highly, highly recommend you don't get the USB version. Get the XLR version so that once you get an audio interface, you can plug into that and get a better signal. Since I didn't have an audio interface when I first got it, that was kind of my reasoning for getting the USB, but I regret that now. So if you're gonna get it, make sure you get the XLR version and not the USB version. So next, my actual audio interface that I'm using that I was just discussing right here. So I have the UR22 Mark II from Steinberg, and this thing has been fantastic. I just got it about a month ago, and it has made my life so much easier. And you might be wondering, what's the point of having an audio interface? Well, it basically just helps you with all the routing, and it makes it really quick if you want to increase volumes on different things. So for instance, I have my headphones routed through a 1/4-inch cable into the headphone jack on the Steinberg audio interface, which has controls for the headphones or controls for the outputs. Now, the general outputs in the back, I have going to my rockets on each side. So if I ever want to listen to a track and A/B it between the headphones and the rockets, all I have to do is switch two knobs, and it's that easy. Additionally, I also route my DJ mixer into one of the inputs, and you could also put in your microphone into one of the inputs. And then that way I can listen to what I'm mixing on my DJ mixer and my rockets. Alternatively, I've also used it with one of my electric guitars for recording that as well. But it's super convenient and useful. I think it runs for about $200, maybe less. So it's been a real big pleasure and bonus to my setup. Next, we have my MIDI keyboard. So I actually used to run with a really big, full-sized, you can see it over there, this huge MIDI keyboard. It's just a digital kind of like preset synth keyboard that you would get for someone who's just like screwing around and learning piano. But I used to use that. I'm not trained enough on piano to really make use of that many keys. So instead, I kind of downside to this smaller one, which you see right here. So this is the Akai MPK Mini, and I find MIDI controllers kind of expensive. So I wanted to go with a more budget option. I'm not going to be playing like, huge chords in the melodies on my right hand or whatever. So I'll just lay down chords and then I'll play on top of it with a melody or whatever, a pad or whatever I'm going to do. This little keyboard is very responsive. The velocity response is really great. It also comes with drum pads. I find that I have a bunch of delay when I use them, but I'm not sure if that's an issue I have in FL that I'm not addressing properly. And then there's lots of other mod controls that I haven't really programmed yet. But one thing I especially appreciate about this MIDI keyboard that I didn't have on the big guy is changing the key up and down. So this is really great for me as someone who's not amazing at playing piano. Like I tend to just like doing the white keys in C/A minor. So it's great to be able to program it so that's in F minor or whatever, and I can write my songs in a different key from the get-go. Finally, my actual keyboard here, my physical keyboard that I use is a Razer Black Widow Ultimate. Like I said, I was a gamer before I became a producer, so this is a fantastic mechanical keyboard that's really great. Not like a huge benefit in terms of producing, but just to let you know, that is what I use. So I hope this helped you guys get an idea of what some entry level, more budget options are. Really, this is one of the more budget ways that you can get it. And of course, I didn't get everything at once. I kind of worked my way up to this. So I think the order I got them in was my keyboard. The headphones were next, which I just went directly into the sound card of my desktop. Then I got the mic. Then I got the rockets, and the rockets weren't working properly. So I got the Steinberg audio interface to make them work because there was just no way you're able to connect them to your computer without an audio interface. And then finally, I got the new little Akai mini keyboard about a month ago. So that is my whole setup. And if you'd like to know more, feel free to leave comments down below asking any questions that you guys have. I think for next week, I'm going to go over some easy mixing tips, some beginner transitions you can do for any genre. Remember to like the video. That if you did, let your friends know so that we can help grow the channel a bit more, and subscribe if you haven't already. This has been Alex Rose, and thank you for watching.
Oh,